Well, today was another full day. The main objective of today was to tour Snow Hill Lavender Farm and learn more about, I guess, their country's version of value-added agriculture, how a producer gets into specialty markets in order to make more money, which is something that's definitely an issue in the United States, as it requires more and more land to support a family, to make a living. You know, a lot of producers are trying to figure out alternatives, and that's what this man did. Here's actually a picture of the lavender farm. And in 2000, the farmer decided that, he's like, well, I'm going to lose this farm within my lifespan if I don't find a way to make more money. And so he started researching other crops. They were currently growing wheat and other cereal grains on about a 420 acre farm, and he knew he was going to lose it within his lifespan. So he looked at his weaknesses, including high altitude, very poor soil, and very arid. Rain isn't very reliable. And he found lavender to be the best crop. And so basically through trial and error, he's found how to make lavender successful here in the United Kingdom, as well as kind of get into the agritourism part of it too, which actually makes up the bulk of his income. What I found really interesting talking to Charlie is that a lot of the same issues and struggles that we have in the United States with agriculture are present here. Government regulations that maybe don't make any sense to the producer. For example, he can't put his compost on his fields because it's deemed as hazardous industrial waste, which I find and he finds kind of silly. Other things as well that I discovered, they don't have crop insurance. So if a crop fails, it fails, which seems much more risky than it is in the United States. And they don't really have government subsidies. They do have some through the European Union, but Britain's role in the European Union is kind of unclear. And some of the rules and regulations that they have there don't necessarily apply here. Charlie said that his passion is machinery, and he said that farmers are essentially just big kids and are barely housebroken, and really all they want to do is buy big equipment that they can play with all day long, and that kind of makes sense. But the biggest thing that I found surprising is that there's not a formal system of agriculture education in the schools. And as we talked about that from the U.S. point of view, he was very impressed and wished that his children had an opportunity for something like that. We discussed he has no idea. I guess the agriculture education in this country is very, very lacking, and children and adults alike are very disconnected with where their food comes from. Additionally, we talked about the issues of being a self-sufficient country, but bringing in goods and items from the rest of Europe. So they can import food cheaper in a lot of instances than they can produce it here because of differences in labor costs and regulations. And that makes it very difficult for the producer in the United Kingdom to be able to make a good profit because people don't want to spend the extra money to buy that item in the store. They may say they want to, but when it comes down to it, bottom dollar, and they'll buy whatever's cheaper. So that was kind of similar to what we experience with imported goods from Mexico and from Central and South America. Different prices being held at different points through subsidies to encourage trade in some areas that maybe is not beneficial to the United States. United States producers, that is. And then finally, he talked about how it's very difficult for him because he has no business background. His background was in mechanics and engineering and when he went to university. So it's very difficult for him to manage the marketing side as well, and very, very difficult to manage the people point of view. That's his least favorite part of the whole business, is the agritourism part. But he manages everything by himself. It is a family business, but the rest of his family really is not involved in what he does. So I can see it being very, very challenging for him, but he's incredibly knowledgeable about the product, and I think is the type of producer that would make a difference in the United States as far as a small farmer cooperative or small farmer allegiance would go. And I did buy some of the items to bring back to the United States. I'll turn and show them to you real quick. So there's a variety of items. We have, your typical room sprays and essences. There's a lot of, there we go. There's a lot of cooking items as well. I bought some culinary lavender and some lavender sugar for baking. A book on lavender production. And then they even had novelty items such as the, where am I at? Such as the, oh, there it is, such as the sachet that's down below. So that's been my experience for today. I had a fantastic talk. I could have talked to this man all day long about the differences between American and English agriculture, and it's really piqued my interest to be able to talk to more farmers and producers while I'm here.